is Decoding Learning Differences with Kimberlyn Lavelle, and this episode is Decodable Fun with Sue Marasciulo. She is a great guest. She wrote a couple of books that your kids are going to love. Hot Chips, Mad Fish, and Other Tales. The newest one, Bed Hog and Other Tales. And Can 10 pigs fit in a tub? So, as you can tell from the art, if you're watching the video, they are silly, they are fun. If you are listening, trust me, but also this might be one where you want to watch the video to see some of the stuff that she shows during our conversation. You're also going to want to get these books, so see the link down below, because they're so cute, especially for struggling readers or any new readers. They're very simple reads, and they kind of go in order of complexity, as I talk about with her in the podcast. But they're all really simple, so they're great for early readers that need a lot of extra practice. Enjoy. Hello, Sue. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I reached out because you write these adorable little decodable graphic novels that are also wonderfully illustrated by someone else. But
yes,
we wanted to reach out and share. I wanted you to be able to share a little bit about these great books and about yourself. So can you introduce yourself to everyone? Tell us some background on you and how you came to write the books and all the things.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, my name is Sue Marasciulo, and I'm retired now, but I was a special education teacher and also a reading teacher. I worked with a lot of kids who were struggling readers with dyslexia and whatnot. And I was always, I worked with a balanced literacy school. And thankfully, they sent me to get trained with Wilson Reading, which is an Orton Gillingham approved program. And so I would pull my struggling readers, do the Wilson Reading with them, which was great. And they were progressing beautifully. And then we would go back to the classroom and we were asked to, we asked the children to select from leveled readers, which are not decodable at all. And my students would really struggle a lot, as would other students who were not even identified as being dyslexic or whatnot, but they just weren't being taught a systematic way to learn how to read. It was just like, let's immerse these children in like cozy little areas with little lamps and whatnot, and they'll just fall in love with books. And it really wasn't working at all. It was really a nightmare. So what I started to do was pull a lot of decodable books, and I saw that a lot of them were like not really all that intriguing for them. A lot of them looked very like babyish. I was told not to use that word, but I don't know what other word to use. They look babyish, and I just didn't. It just wasn't cutting it. So I started writing my own little stories with like my stick figures, because I cannot illustrate for anything. And they really liked those books, and I would photocopy them and we would read them and laugh. And that was the way that we went for part of the time. But a lot of the time they were using those leveled readers and not progressing the way they should have progressed. So I always knew I was going to write a book. Because I knew that there was such a need for these books, but I didn't do it as soon as I retired. It took me a little bit of time, because I was like, what am I going to do for an illustrator? Oh my goodness, it's going to cost me a fortune. I don't know how to do this. And then my middle son is a wrestler, a professional wrestler with AEW. Course, I have to brag. There's his little action. That's my boy, Trent Beretta. So a lot of his followers on social media, a lot of them are artists, and they draw these little adorable cartoons of Trent and all the other wrestlers. So I reached out to one of them who I really, really liked, and her name is Mango. You could see down here. Well, she changed it. It's Mango U, but her name for short is Mango. And she said, I never did a book. And I said, I never illustrated a book. I said, well, neither did I. Let's go on this journey together. And we did. And we are having so much fun. It's just great. It's working out really well. So that's how I got started with my writing, and it's been a great journey with her. Every day we text back and forth. She'll send me the art, and I just like I love it. She's wonderful. She's a
Yeah.
wonderful artist. So
Yeah, the illustrations are really cute. How do you get like ideas for what the story will be?
oh well, I decided to make the main character. This actually is my son, the
Oh.
way she drew him. And this is actually his dog. Where's my Bud? Bud is his dog. We call it, his real name in real life is Bobo. So Bud, here's Bud. That's my son's dog. Um, Here's a picture of the original Bobo.
Aw.
And here's a picture of the cartoon that got me excited about contacting Mango. Sorry, I'm like a hot mess, and I always am. Where is it? So there's the cartoon picture of my son
Oh.
Trent. In the book, his name is Pat because it had to be decodable, Pat. So I had to pick a name that was, Trent was a little bit more advanced, and I couldn't have that name. So the ideas, a lot of them come from um, looking at a list of words from my Wilson book and trying to figure out how I could make a story from these limited amount of words. Um, a lot of them are real life. Like, for example, the one where is it? Okay, I'll go back to Bud again. So there's a tug of war with a sock, a real life experience, easy words, tug. Um, Bud, I'll go through this quickly. Bud gets in the mud, okay, gets all dirty. Pat gives him a bath, real life experience. I have dogs. Gives him a bath, and then what's going to happen? We all know what's going to happen. Bud's going to escape, and right up to the bath, nice and clean, and he's going to go and so a lot of them are just like real life experiences that you could take and make into a story. And a lot of them are just like made up out of my head. The one with there's a tunnel story where tick and a tick and his buddies, they tell the tick that he's not included because it's like teaching, like, don't bully, include your friends. So a lot of them are just like themes like that I kind of think are important for children to learn about. Um, yeah, so that's where I get most of my ideas from.
And they're all basically like most decodables that I've seen, like they get progressively harder. These ones feel like they're all at the same level.
They, well, yes and no. They
Okay.
get slightly, there's a slight, in the first one, there aren't many words with blends, like
Oh,
like sled, like, the blending of the consonants, the SL, like there aren't like that
right.
many blends in it. I start adding in book 2, which is the Can 10 Pigs Fit in a Tub? I start adding more blends. And then in book 3, even more blends than that. The current book that I'm working on, book 4, will have two closed syllables. Um,
Okay.
I'm advancing to that picnic basket. It's gonna be like doing the scooping, but yeah, so it's a slight difference, very slight. I kind of felt like there was a need for many books at this level. So I didn't want to rush it either, because I think that it's a challenge to find just CBC books.
I agree. I
So
think um I was also a special ed teacher for a long time, and that was always my struggle. And it's funny, like no one ever trained me on Wilson or anything else. We were a balanced literacy school, but I didn't even know that we were a balanced literacy school. I knew that I had used phonics when I learned how to read. So
right.
I went looking for phonics books to teach my kids how to read, and it was hard to find. They
Yeah.
had these little readers that were phonics, but it
Yes.
so quickly progressed. So I
Right.
was like, well, I need them to read this level again, but not this exact same book, because this kid especially has a really great memory. They read it once, they've got it memorized. I need them to keep
Right.
practicing this level. And that was always so hard to find things
Right.
that were decodable, that they could read, that wasn't me writing everything out. So yeah, and these are
Right.
just so cute. So
Oh, thank you
I
so
do like
much.
those.
And thank you so much. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to write them. And then what's really so exciting is when someone will say something so sweet that the kids are loving it or whatnot. It's just like, oh, it's really a great little journey to go on.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with I'll stick with the two closed syllables for quite a while. And I'll do probably book 4, 5, and 6, so that there's a collection when they're just learning about two closed syllables. And again, I'll probably increase the amount in books 5 and 6. So there's only a few in book 4, and I'll keep on adding more and more. And it's hard to find these, to look at a list of words and then come up with a story. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I've written so many that I'm just like, oh, that's terrible, this story. So then I'll either work on it, revise it, fix it up, or I'll just like get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It is the most challenging part. And so I always appreciate when there's resources where I don't have to write it myself. It's there. Um, and especially with the really cute illustrations that I also feel like these, unlike a lot of materials that you get in like programs and stuff, these are ones where like you can hand it to a kid who has those skills, and they can just
mm,
be excited to go and read it on their own and feel really good about themselves and not like embarrassed, like you said. I know the kids will use
yes,
the word babyish, so I think it's okay to use that word.
right, right.
So they would be like, oh, I'm too embarrassed. But this, they're like, their friends are going to be like, oh, can I read that? So
Because, and the graphic novel, I knew that
yeah,
long ago because of that interest. It's like everybody wanted the graphic novels. Everybody's the biggest craze. And then they pick them up and there is no way they could read them. And it was like, oh, no, even Elephant and Piggy, which there's so many fans of Elephant and Piggy out there. But the decoding is not always easy, even
right.
though there's
No,
very few words on the page.
yeah,
My kids would get stuck.
yeah, I agree. I think they're
Yeah.
cute books and they're great in their own
Oh,
way,
they're
but
adorable.
you have to have quite a bit of reading skill before you can really read those on your own, unless you've memorized them because someone read it to you.
Exactly. And that would
So
happen too. That's like, right, with the kids with great memories, like you said, it's like, that's
yeah,
a wonderful thing. And you're happy for them that they
yeah,
memorized it. That's like, yeah, they're happy for them.
yeah, they do. They feel good
Um,
about it, but this is even better where they've never seen it before. They pick it up, they go sit in a cozy corner, and they can just read it to themselves and feel good about it. They can read it in the car, they can read it, they don't need help, and they can feel really good. So I think it's really cool. I
Thank
love
you.
them.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually have here, let me share. I have I do presentations for kids and I'm just like looking at the stuff I share with the kids, but I'll share it with you. This is, I wish I had more, but I don't. I tutored a child named, his name was James. So I actually have one of the books that I did turn into, not with James, with Pat. I did turn it into the first story in Hot Chips. So let me show, I'll just go through this quickly. So we have, this is James. Oh, and my middle guy did illustrate this. I have three sons. My
Oh.
middle, the wrestler guy, he did illustrate it. So then I see, I have the pig sat on James. Look at James. I took his head. And these are the things that kids like. He saw his head in the pig. I cut it up. The dog sat on the pig, and so on and so on and so forth. It gets like, the rat sat on the dog. And this was so much fun. And then the bat sat on the rat. And then the page that they love. James bit the pig and all the animals go flying. And James asked, he goes, oh, wait, in one of them, he's like, can I cross out? Oh, he X'd out the eyes. Look what he did. Isn't sure, go for it, James. No, he has the original. Thank goodness I made a photocopy. And at the end, James is a strong man. And that is my first story that I used in Hot Chips. Same exact thing with this is Pat, and then you go through all the animals, and even at the end, because I shared that with Mango, I shared my little story. At the end, she even had the strongman picture of I was gonna say James, of Pat being the strongman after I mean, it's not so nice. He bit the animal, but whatever. Get this, it's the sillier the better for them because they think it's funny. And it's a little bit crude that he bit him, but it's a silly book. So
Yeah.
I think it's all right.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah. It's not like it's not realistic that all these things are really piling up on top
I
top
tell
of
you
each
about
like,
right?
okay, if
It's
you
not
ever have a pig sitting on you and then what is it, the bat is next, or dog,
good.
then the dog
The
gets on
dog,
you, and then the rat gets on you, and then the bat gets on that, then you can bite.
then you could bite, you're allowed to bite what did he bite? The pig? I forgot
The
actually.
pig, I think, right?
The pig, he bit the pig, yeah. He bit the pig the first animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of fun. So I just wish I saved my little booklets that I made and I didn't. I gave them out. I don't know what. I just wish I had them because they were such good stories in there, but whatever, live and learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've recreated quite a bit. And I'm excited to see what you come up with next. Although I suspect it'll get a little bit easier for you as you add in more words.
Yes, of course, of course. Although I thought that the two closed syllables was going to make it easier, and it didn't help all that much. I really need the magic E, the vowel consonant E. I really need that. And
Yeah.
that's coming,
Yeah.
that's coming. But I'm doing the scope and sequence of Wilson. I'm following that to the T.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
So
it's
it's great to
fun.
know for people who use that program, but also anybody who uses anything Orton Gillingham or phonics based, like you're gonna see that it all
Progression is very similar
yeah. There's
in many of the
everyone has a
in many.
slightly different take, but it's basically
Yeah, it's basically the same. Yeah, like I've heard from some companies that they're saying, well, it follows you fly. They're like perfect, and they want them because the scope and sequence is so much similar. Yep.
yeah, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So
So
what is your hope for these books now and moving forward?
um just to as the science of reading is growing across the country, structured literacy and people are changing, I'm really hoping to get them into more schools, more libraries. Um, I'm part of an association that just started up. It's called the Decodable Book Alliance. And there are about, I think there's about 15 authors in that group. And what they're doing is they're going to library conferences, like state library conferences, and setting up a table, and all of our books are there, just a sample with the link to where you want to, if you want to purchase them or whatnot. So I love the how it's going to spread. I see it as, maybe I'm going to become a bestseller. No, not really. I mean, of course, I would love that, but all others, like, one day I will be famous. No, but I mean, I love that it's helping these kids, and I get those awesome little messages. I just got one yesterday from a parent who said that um, it was like the first book that, and I had presented in this child's classroom. And it was the first book that he really enjoyed. And I found out, I didn't know this until yesterday when I messaged the parent, that he actually slept with the book under his pillow. I'm like, and it's a year later and he still carries it in his backpack. So I'm like, that was like the highest compliment I could ever get, that like you really meant something to this child as far as reading goes, and he understood that, wow, I could be successful at something. So that was just so rewarding for me, that I sent it out to all of my family, and I'm like, look at this comment. It's brag your sister again. But it's like, it's fun to brag a little bit. I mean, why
Yeah,
not, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so it's just great that those little comments just do a lot for me and make me want to do more and more and more. Get it
yeah,
in the hands of those kids.
yeah, absolutely. That is so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised because yes, they're fun. And I've seen the same thing in so many kids. Like they fall in love with something, and often they do. They fall in love with a book and then they carry it around everywhere. It's like their little pride.
Yeah, those little, yes, they're like, I can do it. See? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like so, it's like heartwarming.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is.
Well, hopefully more people have now discovered you through the podcast and will continue to discover you and spread the word and get these books for their kiddos, because they're cute and they definitely give a lot of confidence. So
Yeah.
thank you
Oh,
for
thank
what you're
you.
doing.
Oh, thank you for having me. I think it's like
Uh,
so wonderful that you're doing this and getting the word out. Thank you. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. So if somebody wants to buy them, I know I got them on Amazon, but there's other places that have them also.
Well, there are bookstores, but you have to order them. They don't really always carry them. You'd have to
Right.
order, like if you go into Barnes and Noble, you could ask for it. And I believe that they only carry the hard copy um at the bookstores, because there's a company called Ingram Spark
Okay.
I had them make the hardcovers because Amazon wouldn't do it. That's to be a longer book or something like that. But Amazon, I do have a website where you could learn more about me. It's SueMarasciulo.com, which my name is a handful. Someone told me that name has got to go. I'm like, yeah, I get it. So I do have another link that's Pat and Pals
Okay.
Decodable graphic novels.
Okay.
So even though that's a little bit long too, I should have just shortened it to Pat and Pals. But if you Google Pat and Pals, I think that you might come
I'll
across my
I'll
books.
have a
I
link
think.
below. I'll have a couple of links below so people can find you
Oh,
and
thank you so much. Thank you. I
get more
appreciate it.
resources. Because yeah, remembering it all and typing it all in, it can be challenging, but I'll have it there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, Kimberlyn.
Thank you. Is there any last words that you want to share with our audience before we go?
I don't think so. Just thank you for, watching. Good luck with your kids. There's a lot of cute codables out there. Um, Not really. Not really. Keep up the good work. Have them read the decodables because they love it. That's how they'll learn.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. Nothing really.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sue. It was a pleasure to have you on, and I
Thank
look forward to the
you.
next books.
Great. Thank you so much, Kimberlyn. Have a great day.
You too.